Hello, I'm Li Hao and welcome back. We have been building a client-side routing library for the past few videos. If this video is the first one that you are watching, well, don't worry. I've attached the link to the playlist in the description below. You can just go and click on it and watch the previous videos. So if you come such a long way, we have able to basically create a client-side routing library. It has, say, route matching. Click on any links, it will do the client-side navigation for you. It supports dynamic parameters, parameters matching, REST parameters. It also supports nested routes like using a layout. And now we're gonna going for pushing this one more level, the next level for our routing library, which is to do the file-based routing. So what is file-based routing? Well, here we already have a function that takes in a route's definition and does all the client-side routing for us. But we have to still write the route's definition, right? You have to create your components in your source folder, and then you have to import them from within your routes in this file where you call the routing library, right? You have to call this routing library with an object and specify each URL. And then for each URL, you specify the components that you need, and you have to import. You have to figure out the folder file path of that components you want, and you import them, right? So file-based routing is a way that you just organize your components in a certain folder structure, like how you want the URL, the routes to be, and we'll have a script to read through the folder structure and generate that route definition and calls the routing library itself. So we don't have to even write the file in the first place. We just need to organize our components in a certain folder structure and let the script to do all the thing for us, generate that file. And yeah, since we are using that file as an entry file for our application, then the rest of it is done by your bundlers or build tools like Vite or Rollup Webpack, whatever, right? So the thing that we're going to do now is, instead of writing routes definition manually, we're going to write the scripts to generate a routes definition. Okay, so let's try and do that. So let's take a look at the code that we have so far. Sorry to jump in, but I got an important thing to tell you, which is that if you're following along, coding along with me, the code for all this is on the GitHub repo. Link in the description. Just follow along. If you miss any steps, each changes are in individual commits. So you can just check out that commit and take a look at what you are missing. Now follow along. I'm gonna go full screen because we no longer need to look at the browser for the moment, because we're just gonna focus on the file that we're gonna generate. We're just gonna look at the content and see how far we go along. So here, first thing is, this is the main.ts, is the main entry file for application. And that is so because our index.html imports this source main over here. That's why when you start your dev server, like start Vite, it loads this HTML file and then it requests for this entry file, which is the main.ts. And we can keep this main.ts. I'm going to just keep it here, but we're going to create a new file called let's see, generated.ts. Okay, and we're gonna change our entry file to this generated.ts. Okay, so if you are still having your server running, you would notice that now this is empty. You don't see anything at all. And our goal is to generate, let's kill this. Our goal is to generate code in this file so that it looks like this main.ts file that we have over here. So what is the inputs? The input of this is a folder where we have our routes, right? So here's the we have our routes over here, but they are all just lying flatly. There's no folder structure. The folder structure does not follow the URL that we have. So let's just create our input for now. So first thing is let's see. Let's create a new folder. Call the input. No, let's just call a $sign. Okay, so this will be our input. Why $sign? Because routes is taken. I don't want to change this file. I'm just gonna, and I can't think of a good name. Just gonna call it $. So first is you're gonna have a home page, which is the a.svelte. So home page is supposed to be called index.svelte. And let's copy the content of this one in here. Save this. Okay, we have this now. The next thing is we're gonna have a b routes, which is the b. So we're gonna have b routes. So we're gonna create a file called b.svelte. Go in b, copy this, and paste it in here. Next route we have is the c. Okay, this is simple, c.svelte. And it's the c component, so copy this and paste it in. The next one we have is the shop and then something, right? So we've mentioned that this when we want to name this, it looks something like this with a shop ID, right? This is the routes we have, and then this is the regular expressions that we write. Let's say that we said earlier on that we're gonna have our scripts to take this and generate this for us. So instead of having a syntax that is like a colon sign that signifies a parameters, I'm gonna take a leaf from how svelte-kit does it. The reason is because if your routes, if you have something that is, say for example, shop 1 to 2, and you want to have actually 2 parameters like this, year and month, right? It does not really mix. It feels a bit weird over here, like whether this parameter is year or year dash. What's the name of the parameter? It's not very clear. So instead of having just use a colon, we have to wrap the front and the back, and we might as well use a square brackets since it looks nicer in this way, right? So here we're gonna have this thing .svelte shop ID .svelte. So we're gonna create this shop and then shop ID .svelte. So now this name shop ID is important because this is the params name. So later on we need to extract this out and generate this parameters array with this name over here, and also turn this into a regular expression that looks like this. So just save this first. And I'm gonna copy the content. So this is the shop. Copy this, paste it in. And at the same time, this has layouts. Okay, we don't need all these layouts. This was just for demonstration purpose. We have this layout, so we're gonna create a layout. Again, we're gonna take a leaf from svelte-kit, just lazy thing ourselves. So this layout is supposed to be just applied to shop and item. Okay, let's just take it as it will just apply to shop first. Then we're gonna create a layout file, layout.svelte. We have our layouts over here. Okay. Next thing is that we are going to have, let's see, gonna have the item. Right, item. So this is another file. Item slash, and we have 2 parameters. One is shop ID, one is item ID. Shop ID and item ID .svelte. And of course we have some parameters matching. This one we just leave it for it now. But here we have this, and let's see. The item.svelte, right? Item.svelte. Copy this, paste it in here. Yep, we are done. And we have another route that matches the same thing, but it does not have the params matching. But for now, I'm just gonna ignore this for now. We are going to introduce syntax for params matching later on. This one, the rest, let me also add in a to-do, so that you know we will talk about it, just not now. So here in the main, here to-do, we'll do params matching later. And actually, without parameter matching, we are matching to haha instead of item. But you know, let's just let it slide. Let's leave it like this first. So here, this one is the rest one. This is, we start with A, and then we have a rest parameters A, and then rest. The name also is called rest because this is the name. Save this, and this will be our rest component. Rest component, where are you? Rest component. Here, let's paste this. And also, let's not forget that this item also may have layouts. So we're going to copy this layout component into our item folder. Okay, so any routes over here will have this layout. This will have this layout. And I guess that's it for input. Now, let's see how we can write a script to generate the generated file. So I have this open over here. And next thing is, in our routing library, we're going to have a script called generate routes. Put in a folder called script and then say generate routes. Alright, so the first thing is I am going to write, I'm gonna figure out where we're gonna generate it to first. So path equals to, gonna import some utilities from Node.js. We have our file system, we have path, and let's see. What out do we need? Okay, so first thing is that this is a TypeScript file. I'm not sure whether you can just run a TypeScript file. You can have Node.ts. I don't have Node.ts for me, so I'm just gonna be very disappointing and just write JavaScript file for now. So we don't have to, so that I don't have to compile this or TypeScript and run it. So I can run this right now. Console log. Hello. Save this and then node generate routing. Sorry. Node source lib routing generate scripts. Generate routes and then see okay. Since this is a vid project, it has specified that it is a type module, so we should use import and export statement instead. Let's say import from this one. Save this. Let's try and run again. Now we have our hello, right? So here, first thing is that I'm lazy to type all this every time. Let's make it a script. So here in the package, we have a script called generate. Okay. And then here we can also console log the process current working directory. Okay, you kind of see where my folder is, but let's clear this now. So here, this is the current working directory when you try to run our generator, our generator generate routes script, right? So here we can save. The reason that we want a current working directory is that whenever you run a npm script like this, like npm run generate, the current working directory is always going to be the root of this project. And it's useful for us because we can specify things relative to the roots of this folder structure, right? So meaning I can find the output file equals to path.join the current working directory, and then source generated.ts. Right? So this is relative to here. So if I can then say file, write file to this output file. Okay, I should call it a file path. Console log hello, like this, with a UTF-8 format. Then if I run generate, hold on. Okay, this has to be synchronous operation, or else we will have to specify a callback function. Let's run this again. Now after we run this, we can see that we've managed to find this path for this generated, and we write console.log hello into the file. And later on, when you run npm run dev, you can visit the page, and if you inspect console, you will see that there is a console log called hello. Right, so our goal here, to clarify again, is to generate this routes definition that we see over here on the left, like this. So in the meantime, I think let's just write some sample templates, right? So I have this on the right to compare, but I'm going to expand it so that you have more space to look at the code that I have. This one I can collapse smaller for now. Let's kill this. So here, first thing is we're gonna have the, okay, make it a template literal so that I can have multiple lines. And here, gonna write, we'll just copy paste this thing in here. Like this, like this. Okay, so if I run generate, now my generated routes, this one will have like this. Hold on, I'm missing something. Okay. Now this and this is the same now. Now we have to walk the folder structure and figure this out, right? So to walk the folder structure, we have to also know where is our inputs folder. It goes to path.join current working directory with the source /$. And if I do fs.read directory synchronous, with this input folder, let's log out and see what we get. Let's run this. Let's see that it has A, B, C, svelte, all this. It has all the folders or files in this directory. Right, so we are going to go through, we're going to figure out how we can recursively read all the folders in this $sign folder itself, and then piece everything up into a structure to find out all the routes there is in this source folder, right? And that is what we're going to do in the next video. So I know this is a short one, kind of, because it feels like we haven't done anything, but we do something important. We did set things up. Now we have our scripts and can run the scripts and can see how the flow goes, right? We have our template set up. So the next thing is we're gonna traverse or step through the folder structure and find out all the routes. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when the next video is out. So see ya, bye bye.